So, yan po yung civil service examination. So, ang Song Dynasty po is experienced rapid economic growth due to improved agriculture and expanding trade. So, sobrang ganda po ng economic growth ng Song Dynasty is sobrang bilis ng kanyang paglawak. So, dito din po is inintroduce ang paper money which became the first in the world. So, ito po ang kaunahang paper money sa buong mundo na galing po sa China, more specifically sa Song Dynasty. So, the Silk Road and maritime trade with Southeast Asia, India, and Middle East flourished. Major cities like Kaifeng and later Hanzi become bustling centers of commerce and culture. So, dahil nga po dun sa mga trade na yun is naging sobrang ingay or lively ng mga ibang major cities na yun na nagkakaroon ng mga palitan din and trade and pagbibenta ng mga iba't ibang kagamitan. So, during this dynasty din, na-invent ang gunpowder or ito po is used for weapons and fireworks. Hindi naman actually invent, kundi parang some of this is galing sa trade. Next naman po is na-invent nila or galing sa trade is movable type printing. So, greatly improved the spread of books and education. So, yung movable types of printing po, isa sa mga nakatulong para mas mapadali ang pagpapakalat ng mga information. As you can see po, instead na isang block or carved na message kada ipiprint is ngayon is more on each letter na yung ginagawa nila and letter by letter to create para mas mapadali yung kanilang mga trabaho. Compass, dito naman po is revolutionize navigation and sea travel. So, nakatulong yung mga compass para sa pagta-travel nila during sa pakikipag-trade. Then, advances in mathematics, astronomy, and engineering. So, art and painting thrive. Landscape painting became a signature of Chinese culture. So, pag sinabi po natin landscape painting, is hindi naman po literally na landscape yung size ng painting, kundi ang mga sinusulat or idinodrawing po nila is yung mga nakikita natin sa paligid natin or yung mga nature, yung mga bundok, ilog, ganyan, mga puno, yan. Yan po yung landscape painting. So, ito din po sa Song Dynasty is the rise of Neo-Confucianism or blending Confucian ethics with Buddhist and Taoist idea. So, magkakaiba po yun and tinatawag po siya na Neo-Confucianism. So, education and literacy flourished due to printing and technology. Dahil nga po sa mga sobrang dami ng advancement is yung education and literacy is kumakalat na sa buong China. So, poetry, calligraphy, and ceramic reach new heights of sophistication. Lalo pang gumanda yung mga gawa nila. So constant threats from northern nomadic tribes like Jurchen and Mongols weakened the state. So, ang nakapagpahina naman po ng dynasty ng Song is yung constant na pag-atake ng mga nomadic tribes. So, the Northern Song fell to the Jurchens or Jin dynasty in 1127. The court fled south, forming the Southern Song. So, in 1979, the Mongols under Kublai Khan conquered the Song, ending the dynasty and beginning the Yuan dynasty. So, sinasabi po na ito ang pinakaunang dynasty na pinamumunuan ang China ng ibang lahi or ibang tao. So, the Yuan dynasty marked the first time China was ruled by foreigners or the Mongols, founded by Kublai Khan, the grandson of Genghis Khan. It unified China under Mongol control and expanded connections with the rest of the world. So, Kublai Khan's rule declared himself Emperor of China in 1271, officially establishing the Yuan dynasty. So, he also moved the capital to Dadu or modern-day Beijing, strengthening political and economic control. He also encouraged foreign trade and diplomacy, opening China to visitors such as Marco Polo. So, sa mga hindi po nakakaalam, si Marco Polo po ay isang European traveler and isa rin po siyang writer, and isa nga po sa kanya mga sinulat is yung pamumuno or advancement technology ng China na later on naka-inspired sa iba para tingnan din ito. So, the Yuan dynasty also supported religious tolerance. So, sa Yuan dynasty is more open sila sa iba't ibang paniniwala ng lahat ng tao. So, allowing Buddhism, Islam, Christianity, and Confucianism to coexist. So, during this time then, the Silk Road reached its peak under the Mongol protection, connecting China to Europe and Middle East. The trade of silk, spices, and porcelain and paper flourished. So, dito din nag-introduce ng paper money widely. So, nung una is invention or first paper money, ngayon naman is na-introduce na ito widely, making large-scale trade easier. So, na-introduce na rin to sa ibang lugar na makakapagpadali ng mga wide trade or yung mga malakihan yung mga pinag-exchange nila. So, they also rebuilt the canals, roads to improve transportation and commerce. The Yuan blended Mongol, Chinese, Persian, and Islamic cultures. So, minix daw po ng Yuan ang iba't ibang mga cultures na galing sa Mongol, Chinese, Persian, at Islamic. So isa na po dun is yung sa art, especially theater and drama, na nag-thrive during this dynasty, giving rise to the Yuan Saju plays. So, advances in astronomy, medicine, and cartography, map making were made with help from foreign scholars. The Chinese novel began to emerge as a major literacy form, during the period. So, yung mga advances, isa po ito sa yun na sa picture natin. Isa siya sa mga advances sa astronomy, which in yung tinitingnan nila yung pagpatak ng anino na galing dun sa tower. Kung hanggang saan na lang yung anino is parang doon nila nasasabi kung anong oras na, which is napakita din nila na talagang accurate yung kanyang sinasabi na oras. Next naman po is frequent natural disaster, famines, and floods weaken public trust. So, yung mga frequent po na mga natural disasters, famines, and flood ay na-weaken na naman yung tiwala ng publiko sa kanila. So, kaya nga po is parang andun na tayo sa sunod na step sa mandate of heaven. So, heavy taxation, enforced labor, cause widespread of resentment among the Chinese. So, alam natin na kapag hindi na nagustuhan ng mga tao yung pamamalakad sa kanila is maaari na naman itong magdulot ng revolution. So, corruption spread in the government, and Mongols were often given higher status than native Chinese. So, yung corruption naman po is in a form na hindi nabibigyan ng patas na laban yung mga Chinese or karapatan sa pamumuno ng government. Mostly, yung mga matataas na position is binibigay nila sa mga Mongols. So, massive rebellions, especially the Red Turban Rebellion, erupted, eventually toppling the dynasty. In 1368, the Ming Dynasty replaced the Yuan. No, dahil nga po doon, and dahil sa meron tayong mandate of heaven, is nag-cause na naman ito ng rebellion na eventually nakapagpabagsak sa Yuan Dynasty at napalitan ito ng Ming Dynasty. So, the Ming Dynasty rose after the fall of the Mongol-led Yuan, founded by Emperor Hongwu o Su Wangshan, a former peasant, a rebel leader. It restored Han Chinese rule and became one of the most prosperous and artistically vibrant eras in China's history. So, gaya nga po ng nasabi natin sa mandate of heaven na kahit sino po na ay pwedeng mamuno as long as merong mandate of heaven. Kaya nga po nito, from a peasant or mahirap lamang is and rebel leader is nagawa niyang maging emperor. So, sunod naman po is si Emperor Hongwu. So, si Su Yuanshan or siya nga po ang founder ng Ming Dynasty in 1368 after leading the Red Turban Rebellion. So, he rebuilt Chinese economy by reducing tax, reclaiming farmland, and reorganizing the currency. So, dahil nga po sa ang Yuan is pinamumunuan ng mga foreigners, is ginawa niya ang lahat para mabawi ulit ang pamumuno or maayos ulit ang economy ng China. So, he re-established the Confucian Civil Service exam to select officials by merit. So, he also strengthened the Great Wall and military defenses against northern invasions. So, Emperor Yongle moved the capital to Beijing and built the Forbidden City, a symbol of imperial power. So, commissioned the Yongle Encyclopedia, one of the largest compilations of knowledge ever created. So, ito po yung Yongle Encyclopedia. So, para po siyang dictionary. So, siya po ang nagpagawa nito.